Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California. I got gang fight on the mind.
Also here, John Schnepp.
Hey, what's up? We were just watching the Star Wars bad lip reading.
So funny.
Great job. It's cracking up. We haven't finished watching it yet. So.
Also here, Kristian Harloff.
Oh, that would mean the gang fight one, the Walking Dead ones. If you've never watched bad lip reading, go do it. So good.
Yeah. Debate.
Right, let's get going.
Captain America Civil War and 42-star Chadwick Boseman has signed on to star in the upcoming true story motion picture Marshall as legendary attorney Thurgood Marshall. Marshall is based on a true incident in the life of Thurgood Marshall when he was a young lawyer long before his appointment to the U.S. Supreme Court. As the nation teeters on the brink of World War II, Marshall is sent to conservative Connecticut to defend a black chauffeur against his wealthy socialite employer in a sexual assault and attempted murder trial. In need of a high-profile victory but muzzled by segregationist court, Marshall is partnered with Samuel Friedman, a young Jewish lawyer who has never tried a case. Marshall and Friedman struggle against a hostile storm of fear and prejudice, driven to discover the truth of the sensationalized trial, which helps set the groundwork for the civil rights movement to come. John, how does Marshall sound to you so far?
Fantastic. Sounds unbelievable. I love movies based on real, significant events. The stories that need to be told that maybe we're not all familiar with, we don't all know. It's kind of weird that I think a lot of people in Canada know Marshall. A lot of people in the States don't, which is kind of weird, considering what a pivotal role he played in a lot of this stuff. So to hear stories like this told, then you add an actor like Chadwick Boseman, who is like one of these new breed of actors who's really burgeoned on the scene last couple of years. If you have not seen Get On Up, where he plays James Brown, see it. He's remarkable in it. He was great. I didn't love the movie 42, but he was fantastic in it, and I cannot wait to see him as Black Panther. And now I might actually be seeing him. I might be looking more forward to seeing him in this than I am to seeing him as Black Panther. Yeah. I mean, this to me sounds great. What about you, Kristian?
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And, not just significant events. He's great at playing significant people. I mean, you look at what he did with James Brown and Jackie Robinson, and now he's playing Marshall. I think that this is great casting. I think it's a story that should be told, and I'm glad that it will be told. And this is the perfect guy to do it. And I think that it's also, it's when you watch a young actor's career like this and you see him making moves like, yeah, I'm going to do something like Civil War, and then it's more notoriety from fans that maybe aren't watching necessarily movies like this. Maybe there are a lot of movie fans that want to see both movies like this and Civil War. For him to get that kind of notoriety is smart, because then once he plays into that, then they're going to want to follow him next, and then maybe introduce brand new people who have never heard of Thurgood Marshall before. So I think it's a really smart play.
Somebody just mentioned in the chat board, Chadwick Boseman is becoming the designated biopic actor.
Yeah.
And pretty much, he's doing pretty good at it.
Right. As long as he's switching it up and doing something like doing the biopics and then doing movies like Civil War, I think that's brilliant. Because
are you saying Black Panther isn't a biopic?
I didn't want to break it to you.
Oh,
sorry.
T'Challa's not real, but this guy is, and I think this is really showing the flexibility of his range as an actor. Going from Jackie Robinson to James Brown is quite a range, and then coming back and doing this. So I'm really excited to see this film, and also it's like you said, it's a great slice of history, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they envision it.
All right, what's next?
According to a story in The Hollywood Reporter, the advanced ticket sales record held by Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight of $25 million has just been smashed. According to the report, some industry sources are saying the final tally of Star Wars The Force Awakens advanced ticket sales could likely hit $125 million. As a result, theater owners have been expanding the number of screens the film will play on. Originally opening on 3,900 screens, The Force Awakens is now scheduled to hit over 4,100 screens tonight. Kristian, are you surprised by these new numbers we're seeing for tonight's official opening of Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Well, I'm not going to lie and say, nah, I saw this coming. Yeah, I'm surprised by 125 million in pre-sales. And I thought, didn't Jurassic World do really well in pre-sales?
Not as well as Dark Knight.
Really? Interesting. I mean, 25 million, and it's like just smacking that number around. That's incredible. I mean, I'm still not going to go away from my $190 million weekend opening, but I would not be surprised if it obliterates that number at this point. I mean, wow.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
About 125?
No, I mean, not after, when we saw movie ticket outlets getting crashed around the world when that trailer came out and when they put the advanced ticket sales up for sale. And we saw whether it was AMC or Fandango or movietickets.com or whatever, and all these sites were crashing from that. At that point, I was shocked at that, but that insulated me from being shocked about hearing this $100 to $120 million thing. As a matter of fact, Fandango put out a press release today saying Star Wars has now become their #1 ticket sales movie of all time, including movies after they've opened.
Wow.
No movie on Fandango's ever sold more tickets than Star Wars Force Awakens, and Star Wars The Force Awakens hasn't even opened yet. It opens tonight. So I found that really fascinating. So I'm still going to stick with my $230 million total opening. We'll see. But here's the interesting thing, is that a lot of people are avoiding going to the movies tonight or this weekend to see Star Wars Force Awakens because there's this assumption that all the tickets are sold out. Right. And Disney's been going on this full court press to try to let everybody know there are still lots of tickets available, everybody. Please go out and see the movie. So if you're sitting around, as long as you don't live in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles might be tough, but if you live almost anywhere else in the country and you want to go see Star Wars The Force Awakens this weekend, they're having practically around-the-clock screenings. Right. You're going to be able to probably get a ticket if you want to go see it this weekend. So anyway, Schnepp, what about your reaction to this?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not blown away because when it crashed all of the entire world's internet, it's that's pretty big. So, I didn't think it would be 100 million over the Dark Knight sales, but when we announced it, it's it makes sense, especially seeing people all around. They're lined up at the AMC 16 right now, 4 separate lines. There's people
are they there already?
Yeah, right now there's 3 separate lines.
Oh, we got to go over there and take some pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now?
Yeah, right now.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a guy with a giant BB-8 hat.
We should seriously go over there and take some
right
pictures.
We will. Actually, Jonathan got a ticket for a 5 a.m. screening on Friday morning. So they're doing the kind of thing that when movies sell out everywhere, they start movie theaters. It's about a business. They start opening up. We got a 1 o'clock. We got a 2 o'clock. We got a 3 o'clock. We got a 4 o'clock. We got a 4:15. We got a 4:30 in the morning screening. So if you really want to see it and it's sold out and you're in LA, go early. I'm talking extra early, 4 in the morning. You will see Star Wars: The Force Awakens tomorrow morning. You'll get a chance to see it. So I'm not really surprised about this insane amount of money that it's making.
And it brings up the same thing we talked about last month, is that these numbers now, we're getting 100 to 120 million advanced ticket sales when the previous record was 25 million. This is something we are never going to see again. It is breaking the previous record by 4 or 5 times. We're never going to see that again. Now, a lot of people misunderstood me the last time I said that, is to saying, are you saying no movie's ever going to make as much money as Star Wars Force Awakens? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying nothing is ever going to come along and beat the existing record by 4 or 5 times. Right. We're never going to get a movie that's going to come out and sells $500 million in advanced ticket sales, because that's what you would have to do to equal what The Force Awakens just did, destroying the previous record by that much. It's just not going to happen. Even Star Wars Episode 8 isn't going to do that. It might make 150 million in advanced ticket sales, maybe 160, but it's not going to make 500 million.
When you can start being a hologram inside of a movie, maybe. When you can actually walk around in the movie, which happens 10 or 15, 20 years from now, it might happen.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show now for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ash, she's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
As most of you know, the upcoming Marvel film Doctor Strange is already in production and is set to hit theaters on November 4th. Now, producer and Marvel Studios co-president Louis D'Esposito has just shared an image from the set that has a lot of people talking. The image shows D'Esposito with the film's director Scott Derrickson and the new SpiderMan Tom Holland. Kristian, buy or sell at this picture suggests that SpiderMan may appear in the new Doctor Strange movie.
It's hard to sell it. Man, it's not a guarantee, but I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna think that he
really.
I think he might show up in a post-credit scene or something, or maybe just something along the lines of if he's there. I think that there's a shot. Why? Wasn't Derrickson supposed to do? He was supposed to do Sinister Six. Was he?
I can't remember now.
No, I thought that was Drew Goddard.
Okay, but I thought he was rumored for it at one point. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why is he. Why is he there? Why is he coming all that way out there? I mean, is it just to visit? It could be very well that he's just excited to be part of the universe, and he's there kind of hanging out on set and wants to see more about Strange. I don't know if he's going to be in the movie, but a post-credit scene I think is possible.
I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, I understand that.
The main reason I'm going to sell it is the very fact that this picture exists. If like Marvel has become, they've been tightening it up a little bit and becoming more and more secretive. I mean, they're not at Lucasfilm levels or anything like that, but they become more and more secretive. I just can't imagine that, you know, the vice president, the producer of all these films, like D'Esposito, is going to come out and put out this picture if this is something they don't want the audience and fans to know about yet. So that leads me to believe that this was just a casual visit. And if I'm not mistaken, they're shooting in Atlanta, where they've been shooting all their films. So Tom Holland is probably there in town. So I'm going to sell. Is it a possibility? It's absolutely a possibility. But based on this picture, I'm going to sell.
Where was this picture taken?
On set.
But where? In Atlanta or London?
I don't know.
Because Doctor Strange is shooting in London. They're not shooting in Atlanta.
Oh, really? Okay, I just assumed they were shooting
that's
in
why I'm buying that this picture means not Spider-Man, but Peter Parker, in my opinion, is making a cameo.
So why is he going out that far, right?
Right. There's no reason, because they're shooting Spider-Man right now. So why would he go to the set, a live set on London, just to hang out and take a picture? Hey, what's up, guys?
Wouldn't you if you had the chance to?
Hell yeah. I'm just saying, in speculation world, I'm saying Peter Parker's going to make a drop by or swing
in the
through
movie or post credit.
In the movie. I don't think it's going to be a post credits. I think they're going to integrate him in some way. So that's my guess.
Why would they put out this picture?
I don't know, but that's.
I mean, it's so casual. He just put it out on his Twitter feed. Like it was just D'Esposito was there. Oh, the got shot. Put it on his Twitter feed. Like,
is that a way to help promote the movie a little bit?
I don't know. I just feel like if they were planning on using Spider-Man, then he'd be like, okay, I can't put this out on my Twitter feed at this point because we're saving this because we're going to announce this.
Who put it out on his Twitter feed?
He did.
Tom Holland.
No. The producer, D'Esposito.
But the thing is, too, it's kind of a smart movie if you think about it, too, because we're speculating about it. We're talking about it. He can say, it's just a picture, guys.
Right.
As well as, and if he is in it, he's not really telling you that he's in the movie, so it's not that much of a spoiler. And everyone's talking about it, like, well, what's that for? Oh, Doctor Strange. The conversation starts to become about Doctor Strange now. It's a good promotion.
And it's also a year before the actual Spider-Man movie comes out, so it's a double hype. It's Civil War, then you got a little flavor in Doctor Strange, then you have Spider-Man.
All right, well, let me ask you guys, for those of you watching this live on the jump to the chat board right now, those who are watching it live, simply type yes or no. Do you think Spider-Man, based on this picture, is going to appear in the Doctor Strange movie? Simply type yes or no. And if you're watching this after the fact, jump in the comment section, leave your thoughts as well. I'm going to be curious to see what you guys think.
Yeah, and make it easy, either Peter Parker or Spider-Man.
Yes or no.
Just either or. Yes or no. All right, what's next?
The first trailer and poster for the upcoming Tina Fey film, Whisky, Tango, Foxtrot, has just hit the web. An adaptation of journalist Kim Barker's wartime memoir, The Taliban Shuffle, the dark comedy recounts Barker's experiences covering conflicts in Afghanistan and Pakistan, her fish-out-of-water experience, and the challenges of being a woman in wartime Afghanistan and Pakistan. John, buy or sell this new trailer for Whisky, Tango, Foxtrot?
Absolutely buy. I thought it looked great. And you know what? The trailer starts a little slow for me. A little bit. I've been fascinated with this movie ever since I first heard they were going to be making it. It sounds pretty cool. But to me, the trailer builds and builds and builds and then has that terrific ending where she's like reporting on the first Afghanistan licensed driver and she backs him. She's like, oh, this is bad. This is so bad for women. I just thought that was really funny. So I like the trailer. It got me even more interested in the movie, which is what a trailer is supposed to do. So I got to buy it. Kristian?
I'll buy it as well, too. It looks like Liz Lemon in Afghanistan. Is what it looks like. But and I'm okay with that. And I think that I like to see this, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I like to see this version of Tina Fey with a mix of serious with comedy as opposed to something that's just pure comedy and silliness and nothing real, like something like Sisters, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, and I also like Margot Robbie playing a different role too, very similar to what we were talking about with Chadwick Boseman. She's doing something interesting with her career, doing all these different roles and getting in the public eye. So this looks it's a buy for me.
Schnepp?
Yeah, I buy it too. I'm glad they're calling it Whisky, Tango, Foxtrot as opposed to the Taliban Shuffle, because all I hear is the Super Bowl Shuffle from the Bears. To win the Super Bowl Shuffle. I'm like, anyway, the trailer was really fun. You're right. It was a weird mixture of real situations with some comedy mixed in, but I felt it was tempered. Like you said, Liz Lemon, it definitely saw that character coming through a little bit. I'm hoping there's a little bit more of a real base, and then the funny moments just come out of the situations. Right. But it feels like that's how this movie movie's going to play. So it's a big buy for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Just as a little side note, a couple people are letting us know in the chat box that if they are shooting in London, keep this in mind. They're saying Tom Holland lives in London. So maybe that.
But they are shooting SpiderMan though too now, aren't they? Or
I don't know if it's actually in production yet. I don't think it's in production yet. So
maybe he's just like, I was just out for tea and croutons.
croutons.
He's not messing around with those crumpets.
Yeah, he wants croutons.
He's straight up croutons. He's got to lose weight. He's like, that's it. Little baby crouton bread. That's all you get. Spider-Man.
All right.
Some croutons.
What's next?
Caesar dressing.
Okay. Speaking of new trailers, the first official trailer for the new Hugh Jackman and Taron Egerton star of this year's Kingsman: The Secret Service film, Eddie the Eagle, has just landed. Produced by Matthew Vaughn, the film follows Egerton as Eddie Edwards. Edwards became a national hero by becoming the first competitor to represent Great Britain in Olympic ski jumping during the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary. He was a particular dark horse to achieve this placement since he had no funding and his farsightedness forced him to wear glasses under his goggles, making him virtually blind during the jumps. The press nicknamed Edwards Mr. Magoo, and even though he placed last in the 70 meter and 90 meter ski jumping events, he was hailed as a heroic failure. Jackman plays Chuck Berghorn, a ski expert who helped Edwards train for the games, while Christopher Walken plays Berghorn's own mentor. Schnepp, buy or sell this new trailer for Eddie the Eagle.
Hey, it's a giant buy for me. You guys know what a big sports fan I am. Well, this kind of trailer and this kind of movie is something that someone like me, challenged with glasses my entire life, I really got a kick out of it. And when you put goggles on, or when you put 3D glasses on when you're already wearing glasses, that's a whole world of different irritations and pain, especially if you're wearing goggles in snow. So like that shot of him like with all the broken glasses, that was me as a kid when I was playing sports as a young kid, like breaking glasses constantly, like tape in the middle.
Right.
But anyway,
I got news for everybody. That's still John Schnepp.
I know. Yeah. But you know what? I love this trailer. It was really fun to see like the underdog just not giving up, and Hugh Jackman, just such a role that like I love when Hugh Jackman plays this kind of a role. He's only done it a few times, but he's a natural at it. So everything in this movie feels like it's a really fun film. So it's a big buy for me.
Kristian?
I'm going to buy it as well, too, and I'm going to stick with the theme that I've been doing this whole show, and that's another actor who's doing different things. Yeah, look at Egerton. What a smart move for this kid to do this, because he's unrecognizable. And he's put side by side with the real Eddie the Eagle. He looks just like him with the mustache and all that. And the story is great. It's a great story. The guy was terrible, but he didn't stop, and he kept going. He kept trying. Almost broke his neck 100 times, but he kept going and competing and came in last all the time, but it didn't matter. And I think that story is going to be incredible to watch, especially with Hugh Jackman being that mentor. Although I didn't see Walken in the trailer. Did he?
He 1 second. The very last thing.
Brief,
he's hugging it out with Hugh Jackman. I'm like, that's Christopher Walken in the credits. I was like, that's so weird.
To ski. But I think that I'm really interested. Also because Matthew Vaughn is producing it as well too.
It doesn't matter if you're last.
It doesn't matter. Vaughn, stop. That's my thoughts.
I buy this trailer huge. Like those Olympics were in Calgary, so they're in Canada. And I remember as a kid, like Eddie the Eagle was a phenomenal. Like everybody just rallied. This guy who had no business being in the Olympics, but had the right to represent his country and do it. And I just remember everybody going nuts for him and cheering for him. And then to see the background story of this guy. I love stories of ordinary people who summon the guts and the testicular fortitude to do extraordinary things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is just a great story. And because it's not just a great story about him and what he did, it's also a great story. It's a type of story that gives me hope in humanity, because it's also about people who rallied around this guy to help him do his dream. And not just the Hugh Jackman character, whatever, but also, the audiences and the fans.
And his mom.
And his family. Like, just movies like this, I love seeing. There aren't enough of them, so I completely buy it. All right, what's next?
The upcoming Warner Brothers film Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice is now just a little over 3 months away, and the studio has now released 3 new character posters featuring Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Fearing the actions of a godlike superhero left unchecked, Gotham City's own formidable, forceful vigilante takes on Metropolis's most revered modern-day savior, while the world wrestles with what sort of hero it really needs. And with Batman and Superman at war with one another, a new threat quickly arises, putting mankind in greater danger than it's ever known before. Kristian, buy or sell these new posters from Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice?
I buy them, and I buy the Superman one the most. That's the most I've ever seen Henry Cavill look like Superman, with the curl and everything, too. He looks great. And I think Gal Gadot looks really great as Wonder Woman. The pose, everything we've seen of her so far, I've actually really been inspired by seeing what she's going to bring to the table. The Batman one, at first when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's kind of an Iron Man type of suit. But then I was like, wow, that's what he's going to be using in order to be able to keep up with Superman. So I like the looks. I'm buying it.
Schnepp?
Yeah, I love all 3 of these posters. The day before, they dropped another poster with all 3 of the characters kind of looking to the side, and it just said Dawn of Justice. And I thought that was really cool. And then they dropped these 3, and I was like, I like these even better. And you're right, this is the first time Henry Cavill's got like the little, like it's not the total weird Christopher Reeve super curl-esque, but it's like a slightly disheveled look. And I dig the side shot look of Wonder Woman. I think it's just cool to see them introducing these characters. We know they're all going to be in it thanks to the trailer. We know how the movie ends now. They're all going to hang out.
We know who the big threat is.
They're maybe going to be eating some pizza.
Well, we knew
at
that
the end.
before the trailer came out.
I know. It's just, and a lot of people are right. They're like saying, well, we saw these other trailers and they showed the villains and no one complained. How come everyone's complaining about the Batman v Superman ending showing Doomsday? Because it's called Batman v Superman.
Right.
All these other ones are just called like the Hulk, and you show the Abomination. It doesn't matter. You know he's gonna have to fight somebody. Iron Man 2, or whatever. You know he's gonna have to fight somebody. This like Batman's fighting Superman. Why show him friends at the end? That's what I think everyone's complaining about. But whatever. I'm still looking forward to seeing the film, and the more they show us more scenes from the film or drop these kinds of things, the more excited I get.
Yeah, I love the posters. I absolutely love the posters. The one thing I got to say, though, that I'm starting to get a little bit nervous of is that they're marketing more and more not as a Batman v Superman movie. Now it's Batman meets Superman meets Wonder Woman kind of thing. Yeah. And that is worrying me. And one of the big worries is that we are now 3 trailers in. We had the first trailer that came out before Comic-Con. Then we had the big Comic-Con one, which was amazing. Then we had the last one, which wasn't as amazing. And in 3 trailers, we have not heard one word out of Wonder Woman. We haven't heard one line spoken. Not one. Showing lots of pictures, but not one line. So I really do. And then I said long time ago, before we knew who was cast in the movie or anything like that, I said long time ago, I said, I want Batman versus Superman to focus on Batman versus Superman. You want to introduce a few characters here and there to set them up for later? That's fine with me. Keep the emphasis, keep the attention on Batman and Superman. I don't want to see all the posters coming out with Batman and Superman and Aquaman. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing Aquaman, yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing them finally bring Wonder Woman to the screen. I don't want to see it. They're now dividing up the attention more and more. I don't want to see that. I'll give a little bit of a backstory here. We've got a video coming out here next week called the 20 most anticipated films of 2016. And we're going to be putting that video out. And it's the way we're putting this video together is that all of us and a bunch of people from the .com side, we each submit our own top 20 lists, and then we do some mathematical calculations. And Batman v Superman was the number 1 on my list for a very, very long time. It's not number 1 anymore. I'm not going to say what is number 1 on my list now, but Batman v Superman, because the direction that we seem to be taking with their marketing, it has fallen out of the number 1 spot for me. So while I like the posters in principle, I do. These are 3 great posters. What they represent to me makes me sell it, I should say. So
yeah, it's no surprise. Your number 1 is Pee-wee. Next.
Yeah, Pee-wee's New Adventure or whatever it's going to be.
You know what? I'll say this about the posters, and I think what will eventually be the film. I think they're hard selling Wonder Woman to because Wonder Woman's going to be in it. She's going to probably have a larger role than say Aquaman or Flash, who we know they're going to make little cameos here and there. But I think when you look at it, it's called Batman v Superman. It's not Superman v Batman, and they've already had the Man of Steel, so this is going to be like the introduction of this new Batman movie.
Yeah.
Now, do I wish they actually just made a Batman movie with Ben Affleck first? Yes. But because they did this, they were already developing Man of Steel 2, and this transformed into Batman v Superman just through story meetings. Then it became more focused on, like, let's get Batman introduced into this new Man of Steel world. I think the first, like, 30 to 40 minutes is going to really be focused on Batman.
I think so, too, yeah.
And it's not like that Superman won't be a part of it, but the undercurrent of the storyline of the destruction of Metropolis with Bruce Wayne and Batman still being an active vigilante, those are going to be the focus points, and Clark Kent trying to find out something about Batman and things like that. They're just going to, I think it'll naturally weave into the Superman versus Batman situation. That'll be the middle part of the movie, and you'll already naturally introduce like Princess Diana and some of these other characters, and then Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman will all be in the last third. So I feel like if the movie is 2.5 hours, which it seems like it's going to be,
Do you think it's gonna be that long?
yeah. You know what they've already said? Remember, Snyder was like, or one of the guys was like, yeah, we've got like a super long cut. We'll probably release the extra hour like in the summer. So they're going to trim an hour out, but I think it'll still, let's say 2:15. It's going to be a long film. I feel like if they were smart about it, and they have to be smart about it because they get this one chance.
Yeah.
This is launching their entire universe. So if they're smart about it, they brought in Chris Terrio. They brought in a lot of people, smart minds. Let's figure this out. Let's get all these characters set up in a great way. Have an Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. I feel like I'm still have a lot of hope for it. So.
Well, it's still on my list. I mean, it's still one of my most anticipated films of the year, so I've got a lot of hope for the movie still. All right, folks, it is Thursday, which means it's time for us to talk about what's opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theatres. Now, on Tuesday, we talked about that one little movie that's opening this week, Star Wars Force Awakens. But did you know that there are 2 other films opening in theaters this week? So, Ashley, tell us about the 2 new films.
First up is Sisters. When their parents placed the family home on the market, siblings Maura, Amy Poehler, and Kate, Tina Fey, learn that they have one weekend to clean out the junk from their old bedroom. Unhappy with the news, the recently divorced Maura and her hot-headed sister make plans to throw one final bash to recapture their glory days with their former classmates. As the raging party begins to spiral out of control, the gals soon realize that there may not be a house left to sell once the dust settles. Next is Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip. Music manager Dave, played by Jason Lee, is not only enjoying a burgeoning career, but a blossoming romance with Samantha, a beautiful doctor who works in the emergency room. Through a series of misunderstandings, the Chipmunks start to believe that a marriage proposal is on the horizon. Dreading the thought of an antagonistic stepbrother, Alvin, Theodore, and Simon embark on a cross-country odyssey to prevent their best pal from ruining their lives. Kristian, which of these films should audiences be looking forward to see?
Neither. I don't know. If you got to choose between the 2 of them, I'm actually going to be seeing The Road Chip with my 4-year-old daughter. I know.
You poor man.
I know. Well, poor Jason Lee. Don't poor me. But look, I love Tina Fey and I love Amy Poehler. I just did not think this movie was funny at all. It was cliched. It was riddled with the same predictable story you've seen a million times. They just kind of tried to role reverse because normally Amy Poehler plays kind of the obnoxious screw up, and now Tina Fey is doing it. But look, I think that it just wasn't geared towards me because apparently it's got a good rating with other critics. And then there was some guy sitting next to me. I don't know what the hell he was laughing at, but he was laughing throughout the whole thing. So some people found it funny. I just wasn't the guy because I just found it was tough to get through.
Schnepp?
Waterboarding.
Road Chip?
Yeah, it's a play on words, because it rhymes with trip, It's clever.
I think Roadkill. That's all I hear.
If we're lucky.
That's a different movie altogether. Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Roadkill.
Yeah.
That's what I think, though. I mean, it was like Road Chip. Who came up with that? Or like Buffalo Chip. That's the other thing I think of.
Yeah.
A big steaming pile of poo. Not saying that that's Alvin. I haven't seen the Alvin Road Chip movie, nor do I intend to. But
I pay so much money to watch.
I do intend on seeing Sisters. I'm hoping, like, you saw Sisters. Does it feel like Tina and Amy got to just like improv a lot of
They
scenes?
had a lot of fun. I will say that. You could tell that they're having fun. They have great chemistry. They always have great chemistry. And if it's just a matter if you found the jokes funny. That's really all it is. If you find the jokes funny, then you'll enjoy it because it is cliched. It's the same thing.
They're incredible, amazing talents
They are.
on their own, and when they're put together, like, and just able to riff back and forth as we've seen on the Globes and stuff like that, they're fantastic. Both trailers that I saw for the film I thought were horrible. because the storyline itself was garbage.
Well,
so
then
it's sort of like,
then you're gonna feel the way I did.
oh boy,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that second Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. Well, no, look, they were both terrible.
Yeah.
They were both awful, and I'm dumbfounded that it's getting a third one. So you might as well dump it on the same weekend that Star Wars is opening. It actually might not be a bad move for them too, because if you're looking for any kind of alternate programming, that's if you know. People with families maybe can't get out to Star Wars, get into the
There's no kids movies right now.
Yeah.
I can't take my 4-year-old to see The Force Awakens, although I'd like to, but
Take
I
him
can't.
to see The Good Dinosaur and Peanuts again.
Good Dinosaur, even that one. It was Peanuts she loved, but Good Dinosaur's a little. It's a little too. There's some scary stuff in Good Dinosaur. Yeah.
So that, and as much as I absolutely love Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan, and what they did on the Golden Globes together, I love these two. Yeah. But the I said from the very first trailer came, I was like. It was awful.
Yeah.
The trailers have been terrible, and I haven't even got to see. Now, I'm going to go see Sisters. I'll probably see it this weekend after my third or fourth screening of the Force Awakens, but I have absolutely very, very little hope for it, like almost none at all.
By the way, did you guys mention that we're seeing The Force Awakens again tonight?
Yeah, we're all
In the
going.
theater.
We're all going tonight.
Yeah, I was very excited to see it with a giant crowd of screaming fans. I can't wait.
We're gonna go grab dinner and some drinks
Yeah.
in Burbank tonight. Then we're gonna go see an 11 o'clock showing
Yeah.
of Phantom
Check
Menace.
out all the people dressed
Phantom
up,
Menace. I keep
screaming.
calling Force Awakens a Phantom
How
Menace.
dare you?
It's a 3-word thing, starts with the. Anyway. All right, folks, we reached that part of the show now for mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, just email us anytime at collidervideo@gmail.com. Now, if you're watching us live, we're going to save a little bit of time to take some of your live Twitter questions. So if you're watching us live right now, just tweet to us at Collider Video, send on in your question, and maybe Ashley will pick it out for you. But for now, let's get to today's mailbag question. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Claudio Zalea writes, I'm very excited to see The Force Awakens this week, but I'm afraid I've already fallen victim to spoilers from a group of fans of the old extended universe. Apparently, they are unhappy that Disney erased the old stuff. What are your thoughts on this petty group?
Yeah, this comes, for those of you who know what they're talking about. So, back in the day, there was something called the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which was all the novels and the comic books and the video games and all that kind of stuff. That wasn't really real Star Wars. It wasn't canon, as we call it today. Now, once Disney bought Lucasfilm, they wiped all of that away. They said, okay, none of that is real. It never was real in the first place, but they just made it official. None of that stuff is real, okay? We're just going to call that now Star Wars Legends. Basically, it's fan fiction. It's glorified, in some cases, very high quality fan fiction, like my all-time favorite, the Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy. But so there's this group there's this Facebook group that's got like somewhere around 4,000 followers at any rate, where they are really, really butthurt that they did away with the expanded universe, to the point now that they have threatened Lucasfilm. They are demanding that Lucasfilm reinstitute all the expanded universe stuff as canon, or else they are going to go on a massive public spoiler campaign to spoil the movie. Now, here's the thing. As fans, as people who pay money to consume this content, whether it's the movies, the books, whatever, if something happens, then as a fan, you have a right to raise concerns. You have a right to complain even. You even have a right to say, look, if you're going to do that, I'm not going to go see your movie. That's all totally fair. That's what fans should do. If there's something happening you don't like, complain about it. Whatever. That's all fair game. I have no problem with that. But when you get to the point that you now threaten retaliation, like whether that be in whatever form of retaliation that you want, once you go from a point of just vocalizing your concerns, verbalizing your complaints, even if you're adamant about it, which is all fair, but once you cross that line and get into, I am now threatening retaliation of some sorts. I am going to make it my mission, in this case specifically, to go out and spoil this movie for as many people as possible. You are a sniveling, whiny little bitch. That's what you are. You are a sniveling, whiny little bitch. That's what we are. There's no other way to put it. I'm trying to be nice about it too. It is one thing for being a fan and saying, we love this stuff, we just want Disney to know that we love it and we want it back. Then say that, complain about it. But once you start threatening other people's enjoyment of the property, once you start doing that, you're just a loser. You're nothing but a whiny little pathetic loser who are going to now try to ruin the experience for other people who have better lives than you. And it's the same thing. Like if you're in a chat board, like I've been telling Ray, like watch a chat board, and if people start putting in Star Wars spoilers, ban them. Because even if you're a live viewer, and I appreciate that you're a live viewer of our show, I appreciate it. But you're a bloody little bitch loser if you jump in our chat board and try to drop in spoilers for people. You think that makes you funny or cool or something. No, it just proves you to be a little bitch loser, which is what you are. So I'm not even going to name the Facebook group because I don't want to give them any publicity. But if you're one of the members of the group, congrats, you're a loser. You have no life. You're never going to touch a vagina. Anyway, all that out of the way, Schnepp, your thoughts on that?
Or a penis.
Depending on your preference.
Whatever you're into, you're just not ever going to touch it. But check it out. How I feel about this. I wasn't a big RPG guy, and then somebody was like, Schnepp, you gotta, like, Kristian's that guy in my life now who's like, Schnepp, you gotta check out this Star Wars stuff, because I'm like, I love the movies. I bought a little cool Kylo Ren thing, and I saw the movie. I was like, I'm really glad I bought that figure. He's always telling me, check out this comic, this or that. So many years back, a friend of mine was really into the Star Wars stuff, and I read all the Star Wars comics. I remember getting like the Zephron, Jimmy Jim the bunny. Remember the green bunny who was in the Marvel Star Wars comics that aren't canon now? There's a reason some of those stories aren't canon, because they were like, Star Wars had come out. They didn't even know if they were going to make a sequel. Marvel's just like, look, we're going to keep making these comics. Look at this weird green bunny. I don't even remember. Somebody on the chat room, please tell me, was his name Zimfar the bunny? Was it Gimblets the bunny? It was something weird. The green bunny. You know, please make an action figure that so I could blow it up. But anyway, Knights of the Old Republic. I loved that game. I played that game. I played it as a good guy. I played it as a Sith and Jedi. I cannot recommend that game enough. What was the planet, the Sith planet? Korriban?
Korriban, it's Morriban.
Now
it's Morriban because of this, this and that. So does it bother me that much that I played this game that is now not canon, and all the things that I played, I went to all these different cool worlds. I went to Kashyyyk, which is still the Wookiee planet. It's still Kashyyyk. But Korriban is now moribund, and
Schnepp, it's actually Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk, sorry.
I'm sorry, Kristian. I didn't exactly get the nerdisms of Star Wars correct in this episode of Star Wars Jedi Council.
But what I'm trying to say is, look, there are things that are canon, and then there are things that are not canon. When you expand on anything that's popular, Raiders of the Lost Ark had a bunch of comic books. None of that's canon either, at least is my imagination. I bet all these things that get expanded, there's a million different Star Trek novelizations, and in the future, in the past, this and that. What ends up being like canon is whatever actually gets made as a TV show or a movie, and then it's up to those creators at the time. Are we going to accept this, or are we going to accept that? And so when they decided to go forward with this new Star Wars, they were like, look, there's so much different material out there. There's the video games, there's the comic books, there's the novelizations, there's all these different things. We want to kind of rebrand Star Wars, clean it up a little bit, and we're gonna pick and choose certain things. So, Knights of the Old Republic, it's not canon, but they'll bring it in eventually, I think.
The time period is the Old Republic
I'm
itself.
just saying that it's like, to make weird demands, that's just like really, really stupid. It doesn't help you at all. It's like, look, if you love Mara Jade, which is some like bounty hunter person.
It's Mara Jade.
Mara Jade, sorry.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, I'm with these Star Wars nerds. They're going to correct me all the time. Just talk to me about superheroes, I'll correct you. So anyway, these characters, they'll eventually probably get brought in some new way where it won't disappoint you, because I think all the people who are doing Star Wars now love Star Wars, and they're like trying to make it.
And the stories, they love a lot of the old stories too. And this is what I'd say to that group: morons. You're morons, because not only for the fact that you're threatening people, it makes no sense what you want to do. It makes no sense if they go and follow what you do. Chewie's dead. He got killed by a moon. Great storyline.
Spoilers.
So that's what in the expanded universe, in the old books, he died.
They hit him with a moon.
A lot of ridiculous things happen. So by your logic, they can't make the Force Awakens. They can't do that, because if they keep everything canon that you wanted to stay canon, they can't tell the story that they want to do, that they can tell these new stories and further along, because then they can't tell what they can't do it, because this history has been written out then for all the characters that we know, because we know it because it's been there. That's what canon is. So because you look, I love Admiral Thrawn, I love the Darth Plagueis book, I don't shut up about it, but I have to accept that part of it, they have a better plan for it now. So they're doing these other things, these new books and new comics, everything. Do you know how much work it is for this story group, to monitor this brand new canon, and how much material they're giving you to further the universe leading up to stuff? Like, there is stuff that I have read because of it. I knew a little bit more going into The Force Awakens. That's because I'm caught up on the new canon. It doesn't make sense, all this other stuff. It didn't work. And like Schnepp said, I thought the point that worked really well, that what you said was that they didn't know they were making new movies back then.
Yeah.
So you could just write whatever you wanted to write. They weren't monitoring it. There was no story group really looking over and saying, okay, because it didn't matter. It was like fan fiction. Cool, put that out there. It didn't hurt any stories. Now, like I said, there's so much that had happened, and all these different things that happened throughout the expanded universe, that if you made that stuff canon, you couldn't tell a good story. So don't see, and this dumb group out there, don't see The Force Awakens. You shouldn't even have spoilers, because by your logic, you don't that story doesn't make sense to you. That story isn't canon because it doesn't follow the rest of the nonsense that you like, the giant bunny with a space pack. So get lost, stick your head in the toilet, and flush it 7 times.
With all that being said, there is some great stuff in the old expanded universe.
Great stuff.
We've already mentioned a few times the Grand Admiral Thrawn stuff, the Heir to the Empire. Check that out. There's some great, not all of it was great, but there's some great novels in the X-Wing.
The Darth Bane trilogy is some of the best.
The
Dark Empire.
The new Jedi Academy stuff. There's some really
Bounty Hunter Tales, great stuff.
There's some great stuff for you to go and explore. It's just not canon anymore, and so just read it.
And there's nothing wrong with it not being canon either. Like, one of the first Star Wars novelizations that I read that wasn't, Star Wars was Splinter of the Mind's Eye. It was written by Alan Dean Foster, and I remember reading that and loving that book so much that I was drawing things from that book. It's a book. There's no drawings in it, but it made me feel like so creative that I wanted to draw things. And now that same author, they brought him out, maybe he's still writing, but he's writing the novelization
that's the beauty
Force
of
Awakens.
it. Like, you're taking authors like that. He's writing the novelization of The Force Awakens, which is canon. So stuff, even if you went and you saw The Force Awakens, stuff that's included in that novel that wasn't in the movie, that stuff is actually part of Star Wars history. That, to me, is exciting. That's new stuff that I think that Kathleen Kennedy and the story group did that makes this so much more, that it makes me, okay, I hate that Plagueis isn't canon anymore, that novel isn't canon anymore, but now that this new stuff, and now that the new novel by Foster, stop complaining.
Yeah, and plus it also gives you a really cool opportunity. If you're a Star Wars fan, you can go off and buy the Marvel Collected Omnibus, which has all this cool stuff with Boba Fett and the Mandalorians and all the stuff that now isn't canon, but it's still really, really fun, great written, amazingly drawn art that's Star Wars related. So, I mean, it's a no-lose situation.
Dennis, was this the nerdiest conversation of all time, you think?
No, I was very enlightened by it. I feel the same way.
Yeah. All right, folks. So I said we would leave a little bit of time at the end here to take some of your live questions, and we're going to do that right now. Once again, just tweet to us at Collider Video. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video as well. Send in your questions. So, Ashley, what have you picked out?
DJ Mike Zero writes, "What's your favorite black and white films? Mine are Mark of Zorro and Good Night and Good Luck."
Schindler's
I'm going
List.
to jump right in there. You said Schindler's List?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Ed Wood. Tim Burton's Ed Wood is a fantastic black and white film. Now, are you saying black and white films that are
As
made
an
now?
era, or just
Old school.
the use of the color palette?
Right.
That's a good question.
Obviously, it's going to be on everyone's list. Citizen Kane. I'd say Double Indemnity. I'd say there's a whole bunch.
Casablanca.
Casablanca. Out of the Past. There's a whole slew of amazing film noirs that I love. You want to definitely check out, if you want to check out like old school stuff. Metropolis is a really great science fiction film. That's one of the first.
Laurel and Hardy, March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite Christmas movies of all time.
Frankenstein, and more specifically, Bride of Frankenstein.
And Young Frankenstein.
And Young Frankenstein. Thank you. That is one of my all-time favorite comedies.
It's so
and
good.
it's in black and white, and it's fantastic.
I got you all beat.
What you got?
It's a Wonderful Life.
That's a good one.
Merry Christmas,
Hey, wait a
everybody.
second. I got one up on you.
Oh, yeah.
Miracle on 34th
That's
Street.
a good one,
Mike
too.
Gal's grandpa,
That's
John
right.
Payne.
Holly's grandfather's in that, isn't he? All right, what's next?
Awesome Sauce writes, what's an underrated comedy that you guys love? Mine is Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
Oh, I like Multiplicity. Yeah, that's a nice one. The one I go look there. If I really had a chance to sit down and think about it, so whenever you ask these questions, hey, what are your favorite this or what's your top? You got to understand that we might give a different answer if we had time to sit down and think about it. But a comedy to me that almost nobody else liked and always writes off, and almost nobody saw it, but I laughed my ass off on it, is the Gerard Butler comedy, The Ugly Truth. With
Katherine Heigl.
With Katherine Heigl in it, who is, I've never liked Katherine Heigl more than in that movie. That movie from start to finish had me laughing and chuckling and giggling.
It is
all the
funnier
way through.
than it should have been, for sure.
It is much funnier than it should have been. Yeah.
Two for me. I mean, I know that people like them, but I still think they're underrated among the public in general. And one is definitely Mallrats.
Definitely. I love Mallrats.
It's just such a, like, when you talk about really great comedies, it's hysterical. But Hot Shots, the first Hot Shots, for Lloyd Bridges' performance alone, what I wouldn't be to be 20 years younger and a woman. Like, he's so good.
Lloyd Bridges is the best.
He just nails lines. It is one of the best comedic performances of all time. Lloyd Bridges is so good in that movie. For him alone, you should go and watch it.
All right, one of my underappreciated comedies that is underrated, Bowfinger, with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. When it came out, it just kind of missed. It didn't hit the radar. I watch it once a year. It is hilarious. It's all about Hollywood. It's fantastic. It's one of Eddie Murphy's greatest performances. Check it out. Bowfinger.
Remember this
Steve
moment?
Martin.
We won't say the punchline is. You said that's what this moment is my favorite moment of the movie. We are going to go get the finest crew that money can buy. And then what happens next?
Yes.
One of the funniest moments in movies ever.
And so true. And I always say, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. That's another thing.
All right, what's next?
Conrad Kedzio writes, behind the scenes question, who made the music for all of your different shows?
Well, some of the music we brought over from our AMC days, and all that music, like Jedi Council, Hero, stuff like that. We actually had musicians that we, what's the word that I'm looking for? Commissioned. That we commissioned to actually compose that music for the show. So a lot of it was composed for us. Then one or two pieces that we use for background tracks here and there, we just purchase that music and use it. But for like Heroes, Jedi Council, and for Movie Talk, we actually commissioned somebody to compose the music and do it for us.
I guess anyone from AMC who's watching this, who's around and watching this and knows the person, you might want to jump in and credit them on the YouTube comments board. Like, say, hey, if you want to, because we don't know actually their names.
Who composed it, right?
Who the actual composers are. So if you want to give them some shout out, throw it on the comment board.
I love the behind the scenes questions.
I love behind the scenes questions. All right, what's next?
Anthony Rodriguez writes, what actor was completely miscast in a movie?
Many of them have been. The one I usually fall back to is SpiderMan, the original SpiderMan with not Tobey Maguire himself, but Mary Jane.
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah,
like, who I'm a fan of. I think she is a very talented actress. Like her very much. It was just the wrong casting.
Not just to take a shot at him, but just in general. There's no way Jai Courtney should have played Reese in Terminator. He just doesn't have the same charisma that Michael Biehn had. I thought that was bad casting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about it. I'll get it in a minute.
All right, what's next?
Wasn't ready. Okay, Butchie Smalls writes, which sportsman do you think deserves a movie about their life?
Oh gosh. There are so many. Like, the reason that sports stories can make great movies is because they are real life dramatic rags to riches stories, where usually you have somebody who had to persevere and like give everything they had and blah to get to where they went. Guy Lafleur would be a great one.
I'd like to see Frank Mir get a story.
Frank Mir had a very interesting story, but MMA, they did one not too long ago about the one guy that John Bones Jones lost to.
Yeah, it was
not Matt Brown, Matt Hammer. Yeah, and his nickname was the Hammer, and they did a movie about him a couple of years ago. Nobody really paid attention to it. So I would usually default back to a hockey player, probably.
Yeah, the reason why I think that those movies, though, like Frank Mir as well, I think that with a bigger budget, because you look at something like Warrior, and I think that if the UFC got behind it, you look at Frank Mir's story of what he did, how young he was to his heavyweight, what he went through
with the motorcycle
trial
accident,
tribulation, and then coming back and winning and beating the indestructible Brock Lesnar at the time. I mean, there's something pretty special.
I'd say I'd like to see the story of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Larry Bird. because that was like
Larry
a really
Bird,
cool.
great story.
They always like playing this like confrontation back and forth.
No,
It was
Magic
also-
Johnson and Larry Bird.
Oh, was it Magic Johnson?
Yeah, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Okay.
A movie. There was an ESPN, I believe it was a 30 for 30. It might not have been 30 for 30, but ESPN did this like the little documentary just on Magic and Larry, who saved the NBA. The
Right.
two of them
Yeah.
saved the NBA.
Sorry, I got it wrong
And their
with Larry
relationship,
Kareem,
it's
but-
they have an awesome story.
Well, then you jumping into basketball. I mean, Michael Jordan's got to get a movie eventually, right?
Probably, yeah.
And also, I'd love to see a biopic about the Harlem Globetrotters because I saw them when I was a little kid, and I thought that was like a lot of fun. I mean, I remember just really digging it.
And how that all came about.
You know, Hayden Christensen is who I'd say was a
Miscast.
Miscast.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Alex Levitt writes, which actor do you want to see break out in 2016?
That's tough.
I'd have to see them break out to want them to be successful. So
Yeah, I just want to see the movies that are coming out, and then out of those,
Yeah, ask
movies,
us that later.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, Wynn writes, come Oscar, how do you see in the best supporting actor category? And does Hardy still have a chance to get nom? And who will get snub?
I think Hardy's got a chance to get nominated.
I do think he has a chance
for
to get
Revenant, though,
nominated.
not Mad Max.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think he's got a chance to get nominated for Revenant. And I think, I hate saying it, but I really do think Sylvester Stallone is going to get snubbed.
Snubbed?
Really?
No, I think he's going to get nominated.
I hope
would-
so. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I don't think Hardy's going to be nominated for Revenant.
Okay.
So.
All right, what's next?
The X-Files writes, whatever happened to the We're the Millers sequel?
That's a good question. If you guys want to tackle it while I look that up, I believe it's still on the
I
plans.
certainly hope they've already shot it and it's being edited right now. Right,
There's a
guys?
window,
'Cause
though.
Yeah,
There's a window.
There is a window. That's why I'm saying
Yeah.
I want it already to be in the can and it's coming out next summer because I really enjoyed We're the Millers.
Yeah,
I thought it was a lot of
another
fun.
one of those, like John was mentioning with that Gerard Butler movie. It was a movie that I was like, this is just going to be one of those comedies I'm going to leave going, why did they
Right?
make that? And it wasn't. It was a lot of fun, and I think that it showed what Sudeikis could do as in a leading role.
That was Vacation, the real Vacation.
That was a
should
much
they
better
should have called
version.
that Vacation, and then I would be like, man, I love
agree more.
Vacation.
That was such a better
Yeah.
version of
that
what
was
they
Vacation,
yes.
the new version.
You know, I don't think it was shot.
No.
I don't
They gave
think it
up
was.
on it?
I don't know that they've given up on it. It's still listed as as on the books, but I do not believe it has been shot. Yeah, I mean, it could be wrong. If you know anything different, let us know.
Just change the title. We're still the Millers.
We're still. That's
Yeah.
not a bad title.
Yeah.
All right, let's take two more.
All right, Hannibal Gaming writes, who is the better actor in your opinion, Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, not including the Spidey films?
Andrew Garfield, and that's no disrespect to Tobey Maguire. I think he's an exceptional actor as well. I just think Andrew Garfield, he's a special talent. I really do think that. To me, he single-handedly, not saved as if the movie was in trouble, but The Social Network, that movie has no pulse. That movie has no humanity if it wasn't for what Andrew Garfield brought to that film, in my opinion. I thought he did great as Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to a couple of films he's got coming out this year as well. So, Tobey Maguire is a great actor. I really, really like Tobey Maguire. So no disrespect to him whatsoever. I just think if I had to pick one, I would pick Andy Garfield.
I think they're both really talented, but I also agree with you. I think Garfield as well. Although I thought Tobey Maguire, the Champagne Sacrifice, I thought was
Really
great.
good. He was really good in that.
But he seems to play a lot of the same type of roles. I think Garfield's going to have a little bit more range throughout his career because I also thought Garfield was great in 99 Homes. So I think Garfield has a little bit more to him, a little more tools.
I'm going to go with Tobey Maguire. I loved him in Cider House Rules. I also loved him as Peter Parker in all three movies, even the third one. I think Andrew Garfield's a great actor, and a lot of the films that I've seen him in, he's incredible in. Social Network, the futuristic one where it's like, all the kids, you're born as a kid and they're going to take your.
Oh, right.
I can't remember what
the
that
hell
was.
was
It's
that
just
called? Right.
Space.
Yeah,
Alien,
I remember
what
what
it was
you're talking
called.
about, yeah.
That he was amazing in. I didn't like him in The Amazing Spider-Man. I thought the first one he was okay in, he was good, and then the second one was just like, whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, Tobey Maguire to me was Peter Parker, and then he became Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man, never really bought him as Spider-Man. I mean, I'm glad he was okay. I thought he was good in The Amazing Spider-Man.
You see 99 Homes, though. Check that out.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying he's a great actor,
Yeah.
but we're talking about who I thought the better Spider-Man was, Tobey Maguire.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that what the question?
Well, no. The question is who's the better actor. If you were to ask me who is the better Spider-Man actor, it would, to me, the answer depends on what Spider-Man are you looking for. Because Tobey Maguire, to me, and this is really more the direction of the director more than the actor, Tobey was a great 1960s Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, he was perfect, actually. He was nothing short of perfect. Now, though, if you're going to say we're making a Spider-Man movie and we want it to be what Peter Parker was in a social standing kind of way in the 60s, but what does that look like in a modern context? Then I thought Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was a perfect translation of what that would look like modernly. So it's really, who is the better Spider-Man? It depends on what Spider-Man you're looking for, I guess, to me. Yeah. All right, last question of the day.
Michael Guljar writes, what are your thoughts on if The Force Awakens can beat Harry Potter's midnight opening record?
Yep.
Yeah. There's more theaters. It's gonna be more theaters too.
4,100 theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
gonna it's going to completely. It's going to obliterate it. It's not gonna beat it. It's going to obliterate it.
Yeah, I'll smash you like a bug. That's Lucas. Do your
But
Lucas
I mean,
voice.
it all depends
Smash you like a bug.
on the semantics of it. But what do we mean by midnight screenings? Like, do you mean midnight screenings as in like the official opening day is tomorrow, but it's opening in every theater tonight? So are you saying the specific 12 a.m. screenings, or are you also talking about the 9 p.m., the 10 p.m.? Because Harry Potter got that too. So it would really depend on the semantics of it. Let's just put it this way. It's opening day sales. Star Wars The Force Awakens will obliterate the Harry Potter.
I like the delivery, the Steve Martin delivery, the 12 a.m.
That's right.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing over at our friends at AMC Theatres, like Star Wars, Alvin and the Chipmunks and Sisters. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater showtime and, of course, your movie ticket information. While you're here, make sure you click the thumbs up button. It's a good way of communicating to us that you like our videos. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting over here, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You can find me tonight watching
That's
Star
right.
Wars The Force Awakens over at the AMC 16, seeing the 11 o'clock screening.
With me, Holly, and Dennis, Wendy.
A whole big gang of sweaties. And you can find me online at Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp. And check out my film, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, by going to tdoslwh.com. Support independent film is what I'm trying to say.
Sitting over here, Mr. Kristian Harloff. Kristian, where can people find you?
Well, at Kristian Harloff on both Twitter and Instagram. But today we're going to have the Collider Jedi Council with myself, John, and Tiffany, and we will be talking about our time at the premiere. We'll also be talking about things to look forward to. No spoilers on the show today, but we'll definitely be doing like a little mini review between the three of us as well.
Now, for those of you saying he didn't say Mark, what happened to Mark? Did you get rid of Mark? Yes, this morning I fired Mark Ellis. Finally. Yeah. Oh my God!
But I had to help with the process.
Yeah, it was just a long time coming. No, Mark will be back. Don't worry about it. And of course, our lovely host today, Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Thursday, guys.
And of course, you can follow me on all the various social media networks. Why are you guys doing that? You can follow me simply on Twitter and Facebook at John Campea. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. And until next time, little bitch.
Yup.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.